Did same thing, vitamin C. I did 6,000 milligrams a day, regular vitamin C, and then I also did liposomal vitamin C, which has the bioflavonoids or whatever in it. Sorry, I'm not a medical person, so I can't speak these words. But and I also was eating four raw garlic cloves a day, and then drinking half my weight in water, a little bit more, probably like 70, 80 ounces of water a day, just making sure I was getting that done. And then for one day, I actually ordered some like wheatgrass because I don't have a juicer in this house that I'm renting, and some beets and ginger and lemon. So I kind of did some juicing a little bit. I eliminated all sugar and coffee, which was kind of hard because I was told that it depletes your B complex vitamins. So I stopped drinking coffee. And then what else did I did? I had zinc as well. And then I also had these A emulsion drops. And then I have all these vitamin things right here sitting so I didn't forget. And then astrolog, I don't know, this stuff right here. But it's all herbal stuff. These are like herbal drops that I just put under my tongue. It's kind of supporting your immune system overall. And then there's a breathe extract one. It's mushrooms. Like it's a healthy respiratory drop. They taste horrendous, but whatever. I'm used to them now. And then, yeah, I just kind of listened to my body and made sure I rested a lot. And then same thing, drinking a little bit of kombucha every day to get my good bacteria up and running. I also did not take Tylenol and I did not take Aleve. I was told, I know everybody knows about Aleve, but I was also told that Tylenol can exacerbate it. So I didn't take Tylenol. Really though, as soon as I took that, so that was I ordered them online. And for all the vitamins that I got, it was like $118, not like super expensive, but not super cheap, but I'm telling you, it was worth it for me. Cause as soon as I took them, within like an hour, I just felt I wasn't totally back, but like I could just feel that my body was like thanking me for all the vitamins. Oh, and also a multivitamin. I take a Garden of Life women's multivitamin as well every day. So the amounts of them though are just kind of high, very high. And I can, in the email recap, I'll just send you the entire list and the dosage, because the second week it was like a little less, and now I'm going on to the third week and it's even less. So it's kind of weaning me off. Like the D3 drops, I also have those D3 vitamin drops because it can be troublesome if you continue to take them for too long. So yeah, I just started doing all of those, and literally same thing. I think I was very fortunate because I don't know. I'm 38. I didn't say that. Maybe I had like a weaker strand. I don't really know, but I bounced back very fast after I started taking these. It's probably 7 days max for me. And then, but even taking these supplements and everything, like I've been sort of working out a little more. I was working out like 6 days a week. And then like just doing yoga, I was like then tired for the whole rest of the day, like just lower energy. So I can tell that my body's not totally better, but it's definitely, I can feel that I'm like, 99%, but I didn't even say this earlier. I'm going off tangent, but I think the long-term effects for me, not foggy brain, but I feel energetically disconnected. I don't know if that's a COVID thing, and I can't really understand it. I'm just letting it be, basically. I'm surrendering to it, but I energetically definitely feel disconnected. Because I feel like I can feel this trauma from around the world and all the other stuff and in myself. But so that's the thing. But yeah, those are the things I took that I think really, really made a huge difference for me.
Okay. And moving on to the next question, I'll continue with you, Erin, and you sort of already said it, but if you want to add to it at all, what suggestions do you have for others?
I have such a strong belief in your mental game and your heart center that I just think if you panic about it and you go down the rabbit hole and read all the negative things, then you attract all those things in your life. And so I don't mean to, like, I'm a little bit more way opposite of people. Like, I don't watch the news ever. I don't follow things. I just kind of go with how I feel. And I know also my whole family thinks I'm insane, but someone will tell you the bad news. Like it always happens. Someone will tell you the bad news. Someone will tell you what happened. I would just say to try to stay away from all that. I don't mean like be ignorant. I mean, like I said, wash your hands. All they say to you when you go get the test. I'm like, is there anything I should do to make sure that my kids are more safe? Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Wear your mask. Stay 6 feet apart. Like we already know that. So that's all that they say. And that's all that I think basically you should do instead of like going down the rabbit hole with all the negativity. So, I mean, cause it's easy to find that.
Okay, thank you. Emily, how about you? What suggestions might you have?
Yeah, I mean, I love Erin's suggestion. The laws of attraction. I love that. What I would add to it and what I tell my family is if you change your perspective from being fear, which is similar to what Erin said, to more like when, not if you get it, just say, and then you have everything like your arsenal, so you're prepared. So you have everything in the cupboard of the vitamin C or any of the supplements that Erin was showing. A lot of them were like tinctures, which is great, that has better absorption. And then continuing to do the masks and the gloves or the distancing and things like that. And then there's a lot of gray that happens in our communities where you'll be comfortable at home, and then in the grocery stores you'll have your masks and be like, but then you'll go for dinner with your friends maybe, or have a friend or two that you interact with, and then you feel comfortable because they're your friend, and then people start to take the masks off, but then so now it's gray because who did they encounter, right? So that's where it gets like really confusing. That I would say just somehow can we avoid that gray? And I agree to stop reading the news probably, because it's become a political hot mess, and it really shouldn't be political because it's humanity and the world that we're talking about and the economic system. So yeah, those would be my tips.
All right, great. And then the last question, which also is a little bit similar, but what suggestions do you have for others on staying healthy and COVID free? I don't know if that's a new question, but Emily, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I would keep your immune system up through different supplements, and then through mindfulness and exercise, and just kind of embracing what the world may give you. I totally sound like Erin now. Great, right? I love it. But no, positivity and mindfulness and meditation. And then if you have a resource, even me, like I will give you my number, I don't care. One of the things that really helped me when I was going through it is I contacted daily friends that had gone through it and were fine. Because if you do get the positive, and depending on your personality, you might be really scared. So then asking someone like, did you have this? How did you feel? To me, that was really reassuring to have someone who had gone through it and had the ability to reassure me that things were normal. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah. Thank you. Erin, you want to wrap that one up?
I agree with everything that you said, Emily. And then I also think too, in general, I mean, I'm unfortunately addicted to sugar. And so I'm trying to avoid that still a lot more. I already know it's poison for me anyways, but it's like an addiction. So I think avoiding the sugar. And then also, I didn't say this earlier, but yes, a lot of the vitamins that I started taking, I was making my husband take as well, just lower dosages. So it's not way too much for his system, which I'll also either put in this chat or in the email that you guys send out. Yeah, and then the probiotics I think are huge. And there's other things you can take if you don't have symptoms like elderberry syrup and echinacea. But yeah, like the vitamin C and D and A and all that, I would just start taking them. I think to stay safe and healthy. And yes, I think like yoga or working out, walking, being outside, because you know it was really weird to be quarantined for 7 days. It was weird, nice in a way because I just got to sleep and I didn't have to take care of my kids. but also super strange because I don't ever just lock myself away. So like being outside, I think really helps a lot, like walking around. Um, well, shoot, if you're in Arizona, that's a little tough, but like maybe you can bear it at 3 a.m.
Right. Yeah. Great. Thank you, Erin. We've got some good questions here. So in the chat. So Julia asked, Emily, did you lose taste and smell?
I did not. I also didn't mention that I didn't really, sorry, my husband is calling behind me. I didn't have a really high fever. It was like, kind of like Erin's as well, like maybe one day where it was up, but not crazy. And I had just a very, very little cough. I did a postural, it's like an old school chiropractic. I think they used to do it in the hospitals when they didn't have anything else to do. And you would essentially invert like a down dog, right, to drain your lungs.
Yeah.
I did that starting day 9 after I had the emergency freak out, and people were sending that to me, and I was like, what the hell? I have 14 days to do nothing but sit like this. So I did it, and it actually brought stuff up. I was actually coughing stuff up, and that's the first time that I had coughed in that period. So I was so glad that I had actually done that. So whoever had sent that to me, I was really glad. But no, not the sense of smell or the taste.
How about you, Erin? I don't
Yeah,
think.
I didn't either. I didn't lose my sense of smell or taste, and I actually didn't really lose my appetite either, maybe for like a day or so. Because normally if I get sick, I don't want to eat or anything like that. Yeah, I didn't lose those things.
Okay. And then any cognitive issues, Irene asked, and I think you were talking about the brain fog, Emily, and Erin was talking about, maybe a little, she wasn't calling it brain fog, but
Yeah, not,
energetically.
and me, like, it's not depression, but not super, like a little bit low, just low energy. I mean, it makes sense because I was so low energy during that whole like episode for me. So not cognitive necessarily for me. I don't have like a super powerful drive right now to do much, but I don't know if that's COVID or that's just me being me.
That's just being in Huntington Beach for 7 weeks, kind of.
I don't know.
Right.
But normally, I literally am normally not like that though. I'm not. I'm
No,
usually
she's not. She's a very overachiever, really, really hard worker. Anything you want to add, Emily, about the cognitive issues? I know you talked about the brain fog and you're kind of still going through that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, in addition, something really interesting with the brain is that it also controls your mood and your motivation. There you go, Erin. It is part of your motivation. And so memory and motivation and mood. So I came back and I essentially had a fuse that was like that with my husband. And it was probably shelter in place and having a baby and then being sick, like all of that also, and running several companies. But it literally was like, I felt like my personality changed. And then because I'm just like in Little Miss research, I went online, and there's actually things where you get inflammation after like chemotherapy or certain other viral infections like HIV and things like that. You actually get personality changes. So it's a characteristic of brain inflammation. You get a personality change. I felt like my personality changed, and I'm trying to consciously control it. And it still is, it's better, but it still is really hard. And I think it's because of COVID, the inflammation, and that my gut was just wiped out.
I'm so happy to hear you say that because like I have like no interest in my husband for like 4 weeks. I'm like, just leave me alone. So I literally am also not usually like that. Totally. I feel like my personality shifted. I'm like, I just have been letting it be because I'm like, I don't know what is happening. So, but he and I have spoken about it. He's like, it's probably COVID. And I'm like, maybe, but that's like so weird. Yeah. So it's very good. Thanks for telling us that. I didn't know. I'm blaming it on COVID.
we can all blame. Oh, good. We got a list to blame our husbands on. our bad attitudes on. There's a few other questions about the oxygen, cost for oxygen, ozone, oxygen, and then what were your oxygen levels when you called 911? Those are two separate questions, but
Yeah, the oxygen levels were not as low as I thought they were. I think it was 98. So that's where they were like, you're fine, even though I felt. I think that's where Erin had said that she has asthma and is used to that sensation. I never had that, so I don't know what that sensation was. So that's what my oxygen was, thankfully, because I obviously didn't want it to go the other direction. And then for ozone, what I will say is if you don't have access to ozone or you're scared to do it, or if the cost is prohibitive. So it's 125 per treatment. So that's, call it like a couple grand that you have to put out towards it. But I thought like either I'm like with it and I can actually process things for work, or I spend a couple thousand doing this. So you have to put your cost on it. What you can do if you don't want to do that is you can take hydrogen peroxide baths, which I just recommend anyway, because baths are amazing, is you would get, and I can send you in the notes for Janice to send, is you essentially get a certain amount of 3% hydrogen peroxide. So it's not, oh my God, it's my brain fog. I'm so sorry.
See, we can blame it on that too.
It's hydrogen peroxide, which I will send to you, that it's strong, and it's a little recipe that you have to put in the bath. Not too strong because it'll burn you. Okay, so just trust me when I get you the proper information. But it's kind of like the transdermal ozone, that it increases your body's oxygen levels. So I took hydrogen peroxide baths for a total of like 8 weeks straight to increase it. So you could do that. And then I put hydrogen peroxide in our humidifier. So then you can also use that as well. Those are ways to increase oxygen also.
I want to add what Phil Donnelly, who was not able to make the call today because he doesn't feel well, but he had at about day 10, I think they asked him, he was supposed to check in with the telemed people. And they talked about his oxygen level, and they said, you shouldn't let it go below 90. I think he was at 92 at one point, and then he got himself up to 95 or 96. And they suggested he buy an oximeter, like the little clip, you probably know about that, Emily, that they do when you go to have a regular checkup at the doctor. So he did that, and he's monitoring himself. So I thought that was interesting. So breathing was one of his symptoms. Night sweats. He said his cough was like a tickle, like it would just like kind of come. It wasn't a deep cough; it would just come from nowhere, a tickle. Body aches, but he never had a fever. So, but the oximeter is what I thought was interesting.
Yeah,
So.
if I can add to that, Jess, I have a good friend who's, he actually published a paper. He's an emergency medicine doctor in New York City, and he published a paper on using the pulse oximeter. You can buy them on Amazon, and they call it a silent hypoxia, that you don't realize that you actually have low oxygen. And then that's what's having people go from like fine to on a vent, like so quickly. And they're just like, what in the, right? Is because they actually have this low grade hypoxia or low oxygen and didn't even know it. Mine was probably lower than I actually thought at times, because I would stand up and then I would get super dizzy and I'd have to crouch down right away. And I did that the first week, and I didn't think of like, why am I doing this? So just, I'm glad you brought that up, Janice, because that's something I would recommend.
Yeah. So, anything else you wanted to say about that, Erin?
No, I mean, it's also interesting information that I just didn't even know either,
Right. And Gretchen is texting me just like, we'll give you a list of the nutrition, the oximeter, the ozone stuff. I know someone asked about how we feel about reopening the gyms. I don't even know if we want to go there. We've had a couple calls on that. Emily, I know you just moved to Arizona, but we closed, we opened, we closed. I'm here in California. They just shut everything down. They closed the gyms. They closed the restaurants inside. However, in California, everything's outside. Everyone's eating outside. And so it's pretty crowded outside. The beaches are packed. And I mean, I think you're 10 feet apart from people down on the beaches, but they're crowded. So California just, anybody who is following it or lives in California knows just about 3 days ago, they shut everything, you know, the virus numbers started going up here too. So they shut everything down. And in Arizona, about a week and a half ago, he shut down the gyms and tubing and theaters. Sorry, I gotta laugh at that. And what else? Bars, but not restaurants. So there's that. And of course, every state is different, and there's all the inconsistency going down, and there's all the unclear messages going down around, which is, I think, probably part of the problem. But you know, won't get into that. But let's see if there's anything in the chat here. Chicago's reopening.
Sorry,
Someone
just posted
said.
a ton of stuff. I apologize.
Okay. Yeah, and we'll put that in the email too. Oh, yeah. Let's see. All right. Do we have any other questions that we didn't get to? Again, we will send you a recap email with these things Erin put in the chat and the things Emily talked about, so that in case you miss it, because there's a lot. Again, I think it was really bold, and, you know, Erin and Emily both just wanted to help. So they were willing to get on in front of everybody and say, this is my story. This is how I felt. This is how I felt, and this is how I think you might be able to help. So I think it was awesome of them to share with us. We wish them well. We wish Phil well. We wish he could be on with us, and all of you guys. And I know you probably, now it's getting closer to home, you know, for many of us. And we wish you all health, stay strong, stay healthy, stay connected. You know, social distance and quarantine does not mean we don't stay positive and we don't connect with our friends and our family. There's many ways to connect. If you don't want to be out with them in public, then, you know, there's of course the famous Zoom, but, you know, get on the phone, you know, talk to people. When Arizona got their crappy numbers, I had people from all over the country calling me, are you okay? You know, right? Between the fires and the worst numbers in the planet, everyone thought we were all dying over here. So stay connected with people, whatever way that is. And, you know, everyone's saying, like, it's okay not to be okay, but don't isolate yourself. Get help, whatever that may be, whether that's a friend, a family member, or a therapist. You know, don't feel alone. Don't feel isolated. This is real, and can be really sucky for a lot of people. And it affects us all in one way or another. And if it's not our health, it's, you know, it's the economy and our business. So it can be, you know, people can go into depression, or people who have depression, it can get worse. So we're here to help. This is one of the reasons we have the weekly Fit Pro connections, to stay connected. We love to stay connected. We love you guys. We want to, you know, see you in person and soon. And so we want you to stay healthy and strong, and again, connected. So these weekly Fit Pro connections have been great. And this was a really great, interesting one today. So I'll just wrap up with my sales pitch. FitnessFest 2020, which was scheduled for April, was postponed till September 24th through the 27th. I personally never imagined we would not be able to be live together, but we are not going to be able to be live together because, you know, it's obvious with having 500-600 people in one place and Arizona numbers. So we are going virtual. I am being positive about that because we are planning some really special stuff for you guys. We are really going to have an amazing event. We've got some really super good ideas that we're pulling together for the virtual expo, for prizes, we're doing it a little different than a lot of other people are. So we're just working out the logistics. We've been really doing a lot of research and talking to a lot of people. So it still will be September 24th to the 27th. we hope next week we will relaunch that. If you're already signed up, you don't have to redo a lot of stuff. So we'll try to make it easy. So Virtual Fitness Fest 2020. We also have 2 really great live stream workshops tomorrow. Gretchen, can you put that link in the chat? The live stream one.
Yep. Yes.
We've got a great shoulder training with Dr. Evan Osar, and we have got female core and pelvic floor with Janice Maddock. If you're looking for some CECs or just that's a great, interesting topic, but there's still time to register if you can do that tonight. So tomorrow at, let's see, 8 a.m. Arizona and Pacific time and 10 a.m. for the other one. So great. We're continuing these live stream workshops so you can stay educated, you can stay informed, you can get some CECs. So we've got that going on. You won't be able to register or check anything out with the Virtual Fitness Fest yet because we want everything to be ready for you. But again, it'll be hopefully next week. So anything else from the chat? Gretchen put the link in there. Everyone's saying thank you to you guys.
Thank you.
Emily and Aaron, and I thank all our participants and attendees for hopping on. And Aaron and I are going to go have a glass of wine and enjoy the cool air. And we hope you're going to do something fun on a Friday night too. So
Thank you.
peace out. I'll stay on for a few more minutes if anybody wants to chat.